Hello folks, this is Papa Ron. Hey, I'm doing a little pre-intro to this video, and I am so sorry to say that it's a lengthy video, but we didn't get Rod's voice on this at all. And with what we both have going today, we just weren't going to be able to get back together to redo it. Probably my fault why his voice didn't pick up. So there's a few little lags where he might have had, a little 5 or 10 second spot. We left those in, but some major things that he talked about were cutting out. I'm sorry, just bear with the video. And then at the end, Rod and I actually had kind of a heated debate on sports on TV. Sorry to say you're only going to hear my side of it, but I did back down and I did side with Rod over it. So all in all, this is a great video. The material in here is worth listening to. I think Rod put a little plug in at first about sharing this video, and so anyway, I hope it works out. I haven't re-listened to it without Rod, but we're just gonna have to go with it. Thank you and appreciate your support. Share the vast insight that we have. Yeah, we've got a few of them fooled, don't we? Ourselves, that's right. Rod, just move on. Matter of fact, this has become so detailed, we're going to actually do a second part to this. There's some interesting things out there, and you folks have already seen the title. The crypto battle lines are being drawn. And Rod, you got any history on that saying? The battle lines, because all the reading you do on governments and all? It talks about war, so it has reference to picking a side, war. There's actually two different sides. There is going to be some type of skirmish or battle, or trying to not battle physically with guns and all, even though that's what it's been used. We're not talking about that ourselves. So generally, when battle lines are being drawn, you have to have two opposing sides. And folks, even though Rod and I feel that we have those sides, and that sooner or later you're going to kind of have to maybe pick, and not sooner or later, there's things going on out there now that you need to get your mind in a frame of mind that we want this to stay decentralized. This is for the people. Anyway, the opposing sides. We have one side that's how it all started with Satoshi Nakamoto. That we have a means of exchange amongst us as people and citizens, and there's accountability and the blockchain and how it's like a ledger and all that. And then we have the opposing side that really has seemed to have its head surface this last year, the last 6 months, that's trying to gain control of all this. They want to not lose control of the control they have on the people through financial means, exchange of value, and keeping us all in debt and hawked up and subservient to governments and what they tell us. And so there is two opposing sides on this, and they want to make all the profits on it. This is a chance for people really to gain their own destiny financially, to break away from these bankers and governments and all that. So exactly, and we had that quote the other day, and I can't even remember who said it, but he said that the revolution is within the mind. It's when you go to war and you actually have violence, that's just an outcome or an outcome of the revolution. But the revolution is in people's minds, and you have to be. That's right. We talked about it, conversion over to that mindset of we need the change. So we want to go a few things. What's going on? We're going to talk about the opposing side today, and we're going to start with Amazon. Who are they? They have become, and I didn't even research how much retail business goes to Amazon. Yeah, there's a lot. Okay. Rod answered it for us. There's a lot. You're so funny. But Amazon, anyway, here's an article that I think just came out today or yesterday, but we'll go to it. And folks, we kind of highlighted some of the things we want to cover in this so we don't miss anything. So bear with us, and these sometimes are a little lopsided. But Amazon has applied for a patent, and I think they were awarded it, a tracking patent that also tracks Bitcoin. And it has wider implications. April 22nd, so it's a week old. Sorry. An Amazon... all right, I'll slow down. And don't read ahead of us, folks. Stay focused. An Amazon Bitcoin tracking patent has been granted, which describes tracking multiple data streams, combining them, and then selling the rich data produced. Now, who's just been involved in all those lawsuits and stuff right now? I don't know if it's lawsuits, but Facebook's in a big thing about Mark Zuckerberg getting rid of all the information they gather and passing it around. It specifically mentions Bitcoin, this patent. Amazon suggested that each time a Bitcoin transaction takes place, the data associated with the transaction can be captured and correlated. For instance, a Bitcoin address can be associated with a shipping address. Now, isn't that interesting, Rod? We think we're using things that are maybe anonymous or something. Some of these coins and tokens that have anonymity involved with their platform. Back to the article. Bitcoin could be associated with the shipping address by online retailers and an IP or email address by the telecom company and an account number by a bank. Once data starts to be connected, other data streams could become relevant, such as connecting social media accounts to an IP address and thus the financial or shopping transactions. These computers and what they can do to correlate everything together to pick you out can be accomplished, I think. No, I agree. It's out the door. And you just refreshed me of something, and now I can't remember. But it's so contradictory. So yeah, they say that we have these rights and all that, but yet here we issue Amazon a big old patent that they can kind of do what they want. You know, I don't know if they're licensed to do it yet. Just a couple more things. Right? No, If the patent's granted that they have the rights to, I guess nobody else can do that, but they want to accumulate all that. Now, whether if they still need a license or not, I don't know, Rod. Here's another sentence out of this article, folks. The patent specifically mentions that law enforcement may be interested in this data to receive global Bitcoin transactions. Yep, and you don't think governments are going to approve these guys to go ahead and get this all together? Sure they are. So I guess, folks, if you want to stay anonymous, and matter of fact, the last line in this article states, moral of the story, if you don't want to be tracked online, then don't put anything on the internet or perform any actions that you wish to remain private. But they'll get us to a point where, if we don't have any cash, which keeps us free, physical cash, I'm not talking about debit cards or Visas, and everything goes, not everything, but a majority goes to electronic shopping, all that, man, it's almost like you're forced into the system, which they want. They want to track everything you're doing. Yeah, I know. And Rod, maybe, at our age and stuff, maybe, I don't know. I just feel that this stuff is on the opposite side of the fence of what this crypto market and industry is all about. Well, then again, it starts to limit your, the freedom that we want from this. Anyway, yeah, I guess you're right though. Well, then, yes, and then we recently had a couple articles about Coinbase. One, folks, I don't know if all of you know who WikiLeaks is. WikiLeaks is Assange, I think that's his last name, Assange, the owner of that. And they put public tons and tons of emails that for example, on this Hillary Clinton stuff and just all this, they somehow captured all those emails and in certain segments or blocks they made them public. And it actually incriminated a lot of people. They thought all this stuff was hidden and behind closed doors and all, but a lot of it's been made public. Well, WikiLeaks has a store, and that store has taken Bitcoin and some of the other cryptocurrencies in exchange for what they sell within this store. And their commerce link to accept those on their site was from Coinbase. Well, Coinbase just out of the blue said, "Hey, you've violated the terms of our terms and agreement, and we're cutting you off from using us as a commerce plugin where you can accept those cryptos." And then just a little bit later, another week, then cheapair.com also got refused to use Coinbase. They had Coinbase also as their means of crypto. They also took that from Cheap Air. And I didn't really study into why that all took place, Rod. Well, and that's their right. I mean, legally they can, but again, it shows you the power of an exchange. I mean, what if we go down the road and they've got, a million commerce links out there, and they start narrowing it down to the ones that are paying them under the table or more business, and pretty soon it becomes a monopoly, and it's like they can, instead of a free market to where everybody can accept Bitcoin, now you got a couple chosen exchanges maybe that can say, "Ooh, we're gonna focus in on Starbucks and cut all these other small-time coffee houses out of the picture because they don't match with our terms of agreement or contract." Does that make sense what I'm saying? So it puts the power in the hands of a few to make decisions, and again, it's more regulation, more of what they think can transpire and take place. Anyway, I just thought that was worth mentioning. That they're also, I think, on the other side of the fence or getting that way. And then we got, and we've been reporting on some of these startup ventures outside. Startup ventures that have been starting up to focus on institutional investors and the big money men. Yeah, I know. Now, this article that we're going to go over was in the Wall Street Journal. But the Wall Street Journal, and so bear that in mind too. If they're advertising or putting an article in Wall Street Journal, is it for the investors like you and I, Rod? Well, but we don't read the Wall Street Journal. Who follows all that stuff are the big money guys. I mean, I don't follow the Wall Street Journal. I don't have no stocks or bonds or any of that paper product that's a mess anyway. Okay. I'm not saying there isn't any, but if you wanted to get awareness out there of what you're doing as far as institutional investors and for the big money men, are you going to put your article in the Salt Lake Tribune, or are you going to go to the Wall Street Journal? You're going to go to the Wall Street. Yeah. anyway, my point being is that they're throwing this out there to the guys that are in the finance already. Let's look at this. It's Peter Thiel. He backed a venture to help big investors bet on Bitcoin. And we know he's not the first one to do this. There's other venture capitalists out there that have done it, and there's a hedge fund. Anyway, there's several people, but he said some interesting things in this article. Now, this Tagomi, let's go the sentence above it. Mr. Thiel's firm, Founders Fund, is among the investors in an early stage startup called Tagomi Systems. People familiar with this situation said, billionaire Peter Thiel's venture capital firm is backing a startup that aims to bring Wall Street electronic trading expertise to the Bitcoin market. Wall Street trading expertise. Now, we know that when you buy a stock for a certain company, you don't even get that stock in your possession anymore. It stays like within a pool, and there might be, I don't know how many, 2 or 3, maybe more owners of that same stock. If they have 100 stock positions for J.C. Penney or Sears, there might be 500 people that own that 100 positions, that 100 stocks. It's just, does that make sense, Rod? Folks, you can research that. I'm not trying to convince you of that. But here he's saying that they want to do this same electronic trading expertise into Bitcoin. They want to be able to take a Bitcoin, and maybe nobody ever takes possession of it. They just keep buying and selling it. And I'm not the expert on this stuff. So let's go back to the article a little bit here. Tagomi expects to be the Bitcoin version of a broker-dealer executing orders to buy or sell cryptocurrencies on behalf of wealthy individuals and family offices. According to the people with knowledge of the firm's plans, its co-founder, Greg Tussar, the former head of electronic trading at Goldman Sachs Group, Inc. Well, of course he's got the expertise on how to do this. He was their head electronic trading guy at Goldman Sachs. Is this putting any alarm bells up to you, Rod, or not? Folks, we'll put these articles in the description box. What were you going to say, Rod? Yeah, let me read just. I just cut a couple more articles, and here's another sentence out of this. Tagomi hopes to make it easier to make such bulk trades by borrowing a page from the stock market. And we know the stock market is inflated. I mean, this thing is higher than it's ever been in its history right now. And inflation could take it a lot higher. But the economy is piss poor. It's inflated, it's manipulated, and people that have money, everything's hinged to the stock market. All your 401s, your IRAs, it's all hinged on that. If that thing came toppling down and everybody's pension plans, we're so blinded, we're so trusting of our government to set all these things up and enact laws and let these companies do this. We just have faith that it must be the right thing to do, and they're looking out for our best interest. That is such a bunch of hogwash, folks. Do some studying. Get online and read really about these things. It'll really waken you up. Anyway, that sentence goes on to say, in U.S. equities, broker-dealers use systems called smart order routers that dispatch their clients' buy-sell orders to various venues, including a dozen exchanges with more than 30 off-exchange dark pools. Yeah, so what the hell's a dark pool? Have you ever heard? I haven't. So I said, well, let's find out. Here it is. An introduction to dark pools. And this is written in Investopedia. Now, whether it's totally legit or not, there's plenty of articles you can go read about this. But I just highlighted some stuff out of this. Dark pools are not accessible by the investing public. And who's that? That's you and me, Rod. Also known as dark pools of liquidity. They are also named for their complete lack of transparency. Yeah, but they want everything else in the crypto world to be transparent. Old Amazon, we just read where they want to get everybody and match all their addresses and IPs and everything up so we know who the hell they are and what they're doing. But yet the big boys, yeah, I know. All right, I'll calm down. It just makes me madder than Hades with HE double toothpicks, man, I'm telling you. But these big boys can join a dark pool and be totally transparent. Dark pools came about primarily to facilitate block trading by institutional investors. And that's who we've been talking about these last couple weeks. All these guys coming into this. There's a lot more about this dark pool, but let me read you a couple things here. With the present day situation in which an institutional investor uses a dark pool to sell, let's say, 1 million share block, the lack of transparency actually works in the institutional investor's favor, since it may result in a better realized price than if the sale was executed on an exchange. So we want to do dark pools now in crypto. We want to have a guy that's going to buy 5,000 Bitcoin, but we don't want the market to know about it because it'll change the price, and then he might not get as good a deal as we need him to get. So he's going to do his exchanges in these dark pools and over-the-counter, we've heard that term before, over-the-counter exchanges that are set up for institutional people and the big money man. Note that as dark pool participants do not disclose their trading intention to the exchange before execution, there is no order book visible to the public. The institutional seller has a better chance of getting a buyer for the full share block in a dark pool. It's crooked as hell, I'm telling you, and it's all set up for these guys that are on the other side of the fence to get in here and regulate and make all the money. All the money. Okay, where are we at here? Okay, here's another article. Look at the title of this one. Powerful forces are reshaping the Bitcoin market. Well, it's been going on. And it was just not very long ago, all these guys are on the other side saying how bad crypto is. Matter of fact, we'll talk about that in a minute. The cryptocurrency market is shifting into a higher gear as influential investors' money is about to enter and play a key role in the cryptocurrency industry. Indeed, the growing interest of financial institutions in trading Bitcoin is transforming the cryptocurrency market. In theory, that big financial institutions are reshaping a market is gathering steam. In an article entitled Bitcoin Frenzy Settles Down as Big Players Muscle into the Market, Reuters describes the change occurring in the market, stating, this is a quote, "The cryptocurrency landscape has indeed changed. Mom and pop investors who drove Bitcoin's skyrocket price in 2017 have been pushed aside by government bans on trading. and replaced by cryptocurrency funds, wealthy individuals, and established financial firms. That hit the nail right on the head, man. No, I think they will, Rod. They keep saying that the benefit of having all this ventures and all this stuff going legitimate will bring stability to the crypto market. It'll bring it to where Bitcoin will be the same value. Well, we don't want that. We want a free market. If Bitcoin's supposed to go to 100 grand, we don't want somebody who's buying all these tokens to regulate that. We want a free, true market. So I'm not... That's the whole... That's exactly right. And that's what we're pointing out here. The more these guys get their meaty little grips in there, the more it changes the landscape of a free market. They want to control it and manipulate. And that's why governments have regulations to benefit these yahoos and not us. It doesn't benefit us. The guy just said here, right out of Reuters, it says, hey, the mom and pops, they're done, baby. And that's probably why all these regulations are coming about. Who puts these politicians in office? Who contributes to their campaigns all the time? It ain't guys like you and me with our 10 and 20 buck contributions. It's guys like Amazon. Excuse me, folks. It's guys like Amazon that'll go and he knows and he'll contribute, no telling how much to the guys that are on the committees that regulate what he's doing. It's a pad, grease the palm type situation. And then the article goes on. Did you finish your thought, Rod? Sorry. But the advent of new over-the-counter exchanges and platforms managed by big digital asset traders such as Circle, Kraken, is also contributing to the reduction in market volatility. And we know that matter of fact, I think, let me go on here. A couple more sentences, folks. A recent Thomson Reuters survey, which included more than 400 of its clients, determined that 1 in 5 financial business plans, let me read that again, determined that 1 in 5, so that's 20%, financial businesses plan to start trading cryptocurrencies within the next 5 years. No, the next few months, it says. The next few months. 20% of all these 400 people that are surveyed are going to get into crypto in the next few months. Just 20% so far. A growing number of influential financial industry actors contemplate joining the cryptocurrency bandwagon. For instance, NASDAQ CEO, in a recent CNBC interview, said, certainly NASDAQ would like to consider becoming a crypto exchange over time. Well, NASDAQ's part of the Circle group that bought Polynex, and they said they want to bring other things into these exchanges, other assets, stocks, and real estate, and so on. Experts believe that big money players will make the crypto market less volatile and more liquid. That's the excuse they give us. Hey, we want to stabilize this thing. We're just here to help you guys. So we're not going to really have a true market. We need to get in there to keep it stable. A more stable and mature Bitcoin will undoubtedly make it more attractive to financial institutions that could trigger them to start designing saving instruments, and they're talking about the 401s and stuff. Just a freaking nightmare, man, I'm telling you. Folks, and the internet is full of this stuff. If you just get out and do a little research, they're trying to grab hold of this thing. Even Warren Buffett, that snake, and I know he's a lot smarter than I and Rod combined. Hard to believe, I know, but he is. Um, and all these guys, just like George Soros, and anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, Warren Buffett says Bitcoin is not investing, but a gamble. Now let's read a couple things he states in here and see the hypocrisy in this stuff. Yet he's the brainiac, you know. He's made his millions, and anyway. Billions. Billionaire investor and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett said that buying Bitcoin is not investing, it's just a gamble. In an interview with Yahoo Finance, Buffett, who was always against cryptocurrencies, talked. There are two kinds of items that people buy and think they are investing. One really is investing and the other isn't, he said. He pointed out that when one buys something like a farm, an apartment house, or an interest in a business, maybe like a stock, right? It's a perfectly satisfactory investment. You look at the investment itself to deliver the return to you, he said. Okay. Now, if you buy something like Bitcoin or some cryptocurrency, you don't really have anything that has produced anything. You're just hoping the next guy pays more. Well, what are you talking about? When you buy a stock, Rod, yeah, you're going to get a dividend, and you're going to get a dividend off crypto too. But the whole purpose of buying that is you're buying it, you're speculating on that too, aren't you? I'm going to invest in Sears or J.C. Penney because as their growth happens, I know that stock will grow, and then when I want to sell it to the next buyer, he's going to pay more for it. It's the same thing. But yet he's Yeah, I used two piss poor examples, didn't I? And I hope Buffett had a bunch of them in there. But knowing him, he was an inside trader, and before they even started to shut down, he bailed out of there. And that's right. He passed that stock on to some unsuspecting buyer, and he knew it was going down because he had inside trading information, probably. I don't know that for a fact, folks, but that's how these rich guys operate, man. They're on the inside track. Anyway, and he goes on and just kind of says the same stuff. I won't read the rest of that, but folks, now this is the stuff that's going on the other side of the fence. And maybe to end this, and then it's like that other stuff we showed the other day, Rod, before we leave. I mean, we got, here's Digital Currency Group, folks. Here's their website. Banks can't ignore Bitcoin anymore. And if you go to their portfolio, which we did the other day on a tape, and see all the people they're invested in Coinbase. They're invested in several platforms, crypto platforms. They have Kraken on there. They have that magazine, one of the big magazines. Anyway, but then if you go over to Who We Are, here's their team. And just do a little research on this Barry Silbert, too. I mean, they're all connected, folks. If you go down here, here's Glenn Hutchins. Glenn Hutchins, he's the founder of Silver Lake, a global leader in technology investing. He serves on the board of AT&T, NASDAQ, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, the Brookings Institution, the Economic Club for New York, and the Center of American Progress. These things, I'm telling you, folks, these things are connected. And there's other things we could show you, but we've probably rambled on too long with this, Rod. Okay, folks, so here's our suggestion. Rod, you got a comment? It looks like you're going to say something. For us that's on this other side of the fence wanting to have a true free market and be independent with what we do with our finances, those of us that are involved now, we just have to keep in purchasing what we can afford to purchase. And we talked the other day about getting rid of the crap we don't need. I mean, look at the trends today. I mean, we buy wristwatches that are as big as Frisbees. we wear these white rimmed sunglasses that make us so damn cool. We spend $200 to $300 on a pair of jeans because they have embroidery sequins on the pockets in the back. I mean, oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, now they go to Salvation Army and buy all their jeans. Now it's in style, you're right. Not only that, Rod, we buy a new truck or a new car, and the first thing we do is we go out and we drop another $4,000 on tires and rims. It's just asinine what we as a public focus our desires on. It's all consumerism. They put all this crap in front of us and we just lap it up. I mean, we feel we have to have a new cell phone every 6 months because of the new technology on that piece of junk. It just goes on and on forever. Utah, where we live, we have a problem out here. Everybody needs these 3,000 and 4,000 square foot brand new homes. And then they got to landscape the property. And then they got to go out and buy new furniture. They're forever hawking themselves up. Nobody's content with anything. They all have to have swimming pools. And I don't know. It just drives me nuts, Rod, all this consumerism. And then we get yeah, you end up paying. Well, not just that. The bank makes all the money. And the money they're using on credit, Rod, they're actually creating that money. It's not money. Anyway, that's another show too. So folks, you're on course. Get out of the consumerism mode. Get out of the damn football games on TV and all that other stupid sports stuff that I can't stand. Bunch of crybaby. Oh, come on. Yeah, I know you're Mr. Heck, I can't. Well, I grant you that statement. I guess what I'm trying to point out is that we become so easily entertained that we'd rather sit around all day Sunday watching games than to educate ourselves what's going on in this damn government and the world and things that surround us that really matter. We're preoccupied with all the trinkets and the dancing with the stars. And yes, sports, Rod. It might be enjoyable, but where's your focus? I mean, now you get your hat on and your Dallas Cowboy shirt and you sit there and rah during the whole thing. I'm thinking, you mean a game or like a World Series or something? Well, what do you mean they've never lost a game they've played? I'm not catching. Oh, brother. See, folks, we've got battle lines being drawn right here on YouTube, and it's the center of this screen right here. It's a distraction. Well, and okay, well, I'm going to grant. No, I'm not telling anybody they're idiots, even though they might be. Well, okay, and grant you this. So let me retract my words, and I'm going to give you this. If you need some entertainment in your life, those things provide that. But I think when you become so focused that takes precedence in your life, more so than what's really going on in this world, I think you're off course. That's what I'm saying. If you need some entertainment, great. But, okay, so I'll rephrase that. Sorry. Yeah, and I don't want to offend anybody. It's to each his own. I try to tell my kids that all the time. Okay. Thanks for bringing that clarification to the CryptoBit Brothers stance. I guess those lines are being erased a little bit now. Folks, you're on course. Continue to buy and invest in crypto. This is going to be the way of the future. You can see by these articles, they're behind it. It's coming. And so you want to have a position in there to where you can reap the rewards before they total take over. We're going to have a part 2 to this, not to go over the same types of things, but it's some comments that Rod had the other day that we're going to try to continue this on. Rod, thank you. And I didn't want to offend anybody, honestly. Well, it is frustrating to me that you can see. I went over to my son's house the other night, and they're watching the playoffs, NBA basketball, and of course they're Utah Jazz fans, and the Utah Jazz was playing some team. And yeah, it was exciting, and I was there watching it, but man, you see all the fans, and they're paying how much per seat to participate in that game, and I'm thinking, God, I wonder how much debt each one of those people have. And I'm not judging anybody, but you just got to prioritize your life, I guess. My priority is a little different than the next guy's. Okay, thanks, Rod.